The following is an encore presentation of stories from the Dooralong Transformation Centre. This will be talking to Michael from the Dooralong Transformation Centre, who's sat opposite me now. So we're going to have a little bit of a chat, cup of tea, cup of coffee, and we hope you can join us after the... It's coming up to 10 minutes past 10 here on Rima Central Coast. As I said before the 10 o'clock news, sat opposite me this Wednesday morning from Dooralong is Michael. So very good morning to you, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, believe me. It's a privilege to hear some of you guys and the sort of testimonies that you have. You've been at Dooralong now for...
almost 6 months.
Yeah, so you're pretty into the swing of things out at Dooralong.
Yeah, pretty comfortable. It feels like home now. So.
Yeah, you're no longer a newbie.
No.
Which part of the country do you come from?
Central West, New South Wales. I was born.
Yeah.
I'm raised in a town called Parks.
Oh, yes, I know Parks. Yeah, the Elvis Festival.
That's correct.
Yeah. So, did you move... You know, obviously you're not there now. Did you move as a kid, or you moved for work? Or
yeah, once I sort of got a bit older, my early 20s, I moved up to Sydney, and I've been there for the last 15 years.
Yeah, but family is still back in...
A lot of family is still back in Parks,
yeah. Okay, Michael, drugs, alcohol, which was the particular demon that you're battling?
I had a good go at everything, but alcohol was the main thing for me. That's the consistent, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that's been problematic for you.
Yeah, definitely.
And when did it come into your life?
From an early age. I was probably introduced to alcohol when I was 6 or 7, just around home, going up with my cup and maybe getting a sip off dad and mum sort of thing.
Yeah. A lot of people would be surprised at that. I mean, they would expect that to come, you know, when you're 11, 12, 13 maybe, but 7 is very young to introduce somebody. Was it alcohol, was it a part of family life?
It was for Dad, definitely.
Yeah. So it was easily available.
Yeah.
And you partook of it.
Yeah.
When did it start becoming a problem for you then?
So once I got to my teenage years, obviously I started experimenting and stuff like that. Yeah,
and that's when it sort of reached out and sort of gripped you.
Yeah, well, I had a lot of anxiety and stuff as a teenager.
Yeah.
So yeah, it started on weekends with friends, and it'd bring me out of my shell. Help me to socialise and stuff like that.
Yeah, we hear this. You're not the first guest that we've had say similar things. It's, you know, they recognise now with benefit of hindsight that what they were suffering from was some sort of mental condition like anxiety.
Yeah.
But they were treating it themselves with alcohol, and it sounds as if you were in that camp.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas perhaps we would hope that, you know, men would go to doctors. They don't do that.
No.
Particularly not in small rural towns like Parks, I imagine.
No, not so much.
So it gave you Dutch courage. It enabled you to fit in with all your mates.
Yep, definitely.
What about work? Was it having an impact on your work?
Not at first. Eventually, it did. It became that way.
Yeah.
Eventually it was drinking after work to deal with stress and stuff like that. Gradually it become to missing work because of I'd been drinking. Then eventually, in my later teens, early 30s, I was drinking during work.
And how did you think of your relationship with alcohol at that time? Did you recognise yourself as an alcoholic, or were you in denial? Did you think you could beat it if you wanted to?
No, I think I always admitted that I knew I was an alcoholic and that I had a problem with alcohol. I think the thing was that I was surrounded by like-minded people.
Yeah. It was normalised.
Yeah, we were all doing the same things.
Yeah. So there was no step from saying, I recognise I'm an alcoholic, I should get some help for this?
Yeah. I kind of had the mindset of I'm not hurting anybody else, so...
Yeah.
You know, it's none of their business sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm only hurting myself.
If I want to drink, that's entirely my business.
Yeah.
What impact was it having on your life?
Jumping from jobs to jobs, so financially it had a big impact. Relationship-wise, I've had relationships end because of alcohol. Physically, not feeling very well. Mentally. Yeah.
I take it took its toll on you physically as well, you say?
Yeah, towards the end, the last sort of 3 to 4 years, I've been in and out of hospital a few times.
For what reason?
Due to the withdrawal symptoms. So trying to stop myself at home, stop drinking.
So at some point in time, you clearly decided that you needed to stop, but you tried to do that on your own. You tried to beat it on your own.
A couple of times in hospital, it's not very pleasant, and you feel like you're wasting everyone's time. You've put yourself there. So after doing that a few times, I tried to avoid that, and I'd try and detox at home.
Was that the sort of a guilt feeling that you were wasting the doctors and the nurses' time? It was a self-inflicted injury?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so you tried to avoid.
Yeah, there's a lot of guilt and shame involved in that, definitely.
Yeah, I think sometimes smokers say they feel the same when they're diagnosed with a smoking-related illness, that they feel like guilt and shame, but it's a disease, isn't it? It's an addiction, you can't help it. But you felt what you felt. Yeah. So were there any particular low points during this time of your life related to the alcohol?
So as I said, with the anxiety, I was diagnosed with the anxiety and depression disorder when I was 15.
Yeah.
And in my early 20s, I think I was 20 actually, I decided that I didn't want to fight that fight anymore, and I tried to take my own life. But the lead up to that, there was a lot of alcohol involved as well.
Yeah. And clearly you didn't complete that suicide, and we thank God for that. That's great. And we'll just say, as we always do, when that subject is mentioned, that if any of our listeners are triggered by what's been said or would like to talk to somebody about what's been said, then don't forget, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, give our friends at Lifeline a ring on 13 11 14, and they'll be very, very happy to talk to you. They're there now. They're always there, 13 11 14. So that was your early 20s, and then it progressed. It didn't seem to get any better for you as you moved into your 20s and towards your 30s?
Yeah, I did a lot of work around the depression. It's been a long time since I've had any lows with that. It's important to talk about those kind of things. And so it's been a long time since I've had a low depression-wise, but the anxiety has always been a constant. So,
and the one led to the other. The alcohol sort of was the antidote to the anxiety that you felt.
Yeah, I was self-medicating.
Yeah. You said that you tried to beat the alcohol a number of times on your own, and sometimes it led to sort of stays in the hospital. At what point did you put your hand up and say, I can't do this on my own?
Yeah, so rehab became an idea maybe 3 years ago. For anybody going through rehab, there can be quite a long waiting list from time to time, so you do have to be patient. So the initial ideas of going into rehab, thinking that I'd be able to call somebody and be in there and getting help within a week or so, and then to find out that there's a 3-month or 4-month waiting list, can be a deterrent, but
it's discouraging, isn't it?
It is. So there's definitely a lot of people out there that need help. It continued. I started getting drug and alcohol counselling, and I got a really good counsellor at Wyong Hospital, and she pushed me to be patient and to do the wait out the waiting list at Dooralong.
Did it take a lot of courage to sort of reach out for help rather than to continue to self-medicate?
Yeah, it did. So it took a lot of courage to admit that I was helpless, that I needed outside help.
Not a very masculine thing to do,
myself.
Is it? To say, I'm helpless as far as this addiction is concerned. I need help.
Yeah.
But your drug and alcohol counsellor suggested Dooralong?
She did, yeah.
Did you have to go on a waiting list? Because I know sometimes you do.
Yeah. I was
How
on a
long
waiting
was that
list.
for you?
I think it was roughly 3 to 4 months.
And how was that? Was there any time during that 3 or 4 months where you said to yourself, I can't be bothered, I'm going to give up, what's the point?
No, it was all right. So the 3 months was okay. I didn't ever feel like I was going to give up, but as I got closer to the date, I did start to feel more anxious about the idea of it.
Yeah, because you hadn't been to Dooralong.
No, I'd never done a rehab or anything before.
So this is your first rehab, so I think anybody would be anxious, and with your predisposition to drink, that must have sort of heightened the sort of uncertainty of it all and the anxiety of it all.
Yeah, it did.
So you go to Wyong, I think it is, that you do your week. The week before you go, is that right? To Dooralong, you go for a week's detox?
Yeah, I did a 5-day detox at Wyong Hospital as well.
And how was that?
Yeah, it was okay. The Hospital, they're really good staff. It was just a bit of a low stimulation environment, so it would have been nice to get out for some walks and stuff, but it's only 5 days. So.
Yeah, explain to our listeners, I guess, a low stimulation environment?
So there wasn't not a lot of activities going on there, I guess I would say.
Sort of mental stimulus.
Yeah, that's right.
So no TVs or Netflix or anything like that? Yeah.
They do provide some things, but just simple things like going out and getting some sun, going for a walk.
Yeah. And then it was to Dooralong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it like you thought it was going to be?
No, it wasn't.
Better?
A lot better, yeah.
Yeah. It is, isn't it? What time of the year would you have been going? Was it 6 months ago?
Yeah, it was right in January.
So it was summertime.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Yeah. And I think one of the first things you see as you drive in through the gate there, one of the first things you see anyway, is the swimming pool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a nice pool.
It's a nice pool, and especially in January, and it's a nice welcoming sight, I would think, on a hot day.
It is.
To see the swimming pool there. Look, just before we break for some more music, Michael, we were talking off air about some of the things that people say to people who are in addiction, which are really not helpful. And we were drawing an analogy with telling people who are depressed to snap out of it and pull themselves together, which is really not helpful at all. What are some of the things that people said to you when you were in that grip of your addiction, which was really very unhelpful for you?
Just that everything was in my head, the withdrawal symptoms and stuff that I was going through.
Yeah.
It's just saying that don't pick up a drink, it's in your head. But it is a physical.
Telling you that all you needed was willpower.
Yeah.
And if you just have some strength.
Yeah.
It's not quite that simple, is it?
It's not that simple. So
No.
I think a lot of people in addiction do have strong willpower.
Yes.
They just need a little bit of guidance to direct that willpower in the right direction, maybe.
And I think sometimes that strong willpower is manifested in the fact that they actually are survivors, that they haven't given into it in the way that you were talking about earlier.
Yep.
And that takes great willpower as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So January, you find yourself at Dooralong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, good point to break for some more music, and then we'll come back and chat to Michael, see what's happened to him and for him since. And we're back. We're back talking to Michael with Michael's stories. We left him at the gates of Dooralong, basically, and that was how many months ago? 5-6 months ago?
Yeah, it's 5.5 months, approaching 6.
Yeah. So you had just done your detox at Wyong, and you're now in a rather fragile mental state, I would imagine, after that week's sort of detox. You find yourself at Dooralong, and what's that first week like?
I'd liken it to your first week of high school.
Yeah, like you don't know where to go, you don't know anybody,
you don't know
just
anyone.
Feel like the odd one out.
Yeah.
We were talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago who seriously was thinking of leaving during that first week.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have those thoughts?
Not of leaving, but I did think of cutting my time short there.
Yeah.
Not doing as long in program as I initially thought.
So how long were you anticipating or thinking?
The talk that I'd had with my drug and alcohol counsellor before going in there, we had mentioned a 10-month program.
Yeah.
But after the first week, I was thinking, I can't do this for 10 months. No. I can maybe do 3.
Yeah. But you've been there now 6 months.
Yeah.
So obviously something changed your mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So when you found your feet and you became a little bit more familiar with the routines of Dooralong, you decided then to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about the therapy work there? How have you found that?
Yeah, it's really good. It's challenging.
Yeah. In what way challenging?
Just being honest with yourself. There's a lot of self-awareness, and I think the self-awareness only works if once you have that awareness, you can look at it honestly.
Yeah. You
critically.
Can't run away to the bottle, can you, when you're in Dooralong?
No, that's right.
When those demons come up for you, or those unpleasant discussions that you have, you just got to face them head on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But no, it's been good. A lot of growth.
A lot of growth.
Yeah.
What do you like? Do you like the group work that they do?
I like the group work in the morning. Yeah, I love it. So,
yeah. People sharing their story.
Yeah.
Any feelings of reluctance, like I don't want to be honest with everybody and tell them exactly what's going on in my head?
No issues with the honesty part for me. not in the groups as well. Everybody's really welcoming. We're all going through the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a really comfortable.
Feels comfortable, feels safe.
Yeah.
And as
definitely.
you say, other people are sharing as well. So
Yeah.
that encourages you to open up and share.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that takes up your mornings, I think, doesn't it? The
It
group
does.
work and the various therapy.
Yeah.
What else fills the day at Dooralong?
Yeah, so there's extra groups that can be added on. Reg groups. What do the reg groups stand for, James? So they're just extra groups that are added on through the
I've heard
program.
of them, and I should know. Somebody call them reg groups, REG. There's that.
Yeah,
it
REG
stands
groups.
for something,
yeah.
doesn't it? Let's not worry about that. But there are some other groups that you can sort of sign up for. Well, which of those have you taken advantage of?
So obviously I did depression and anxiety,
Of
which was a
course,
big
with your
one for me. Yeah, which I've got a lot out of that.
That was helpful for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
My time at Dooralong, I've dealt with a lot of the anxiety sort of stuff, so I'm getting good awareness around that and making progress. Not leaps and bounds, but I am making good progress. So.
When you look back on, your life earlier on, would you say anxiety has been one of the main contributors to the addiction?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I guess the advice you would give to listeners out there who are suffering with anxiety is to get yourself to your GP rather than a bottle shop.
Yeah. Yeah, talk to people about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking helps.
It does. In the right environment.
Yeah.
So a GP might not always be the answer. That may be medication-wise. So counselling or psychologist.
And they can refer to a psychologist. I think they call them the talking therapies, aren't there? There's medication and there are talking therapies. But get some help there rather than do what Michael did, which was self-medicate. But we understand why. So you've signed up for the depression and anxiety. Any other groups that have sort of helped you?
Not right now, not at the moment.
No.
But,
what did you make? We always put our visitors on the spot by asking them this question. What did you make of the very first chapel night that you went to, the very first Wednesday?
Yeah,
Someone said, "Oh, well, this is chapel night. We have a really nice roast dinner, and then we go and have a bit of a sing."
My first day in Dooralong was chapel night.
Was it? You were there on it. Your first day was a Wednesday.
Yes, it was.
So, what did you think?
There were a lot of. I was a bit taken aback.
Yeah.
Why is everyone so happy, singing along, clapping to these songs? I stood up the back, very quiet.
Yeah, because there's a lot of energy in that.
There is.
But for somebody unfamiliar with that sort of environment or that style of worship, it would be challenging.
Yeah, it was.
So you sat at the back and thought,
I did.
Well, just see what happens. Yeah. Are you more comfortable with that now?
Now I'm up near the front.
You've progressed.
Yeah.
You enjoy the chapel.
I love it. Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah. And I think the Salvos, they bus some of the guests from Dooralong out to sort of their local churches on Sundays. Do you go to one of the local churches?
Yeah, I go to Long Jetty Salvation Army Church.
Yeah.
Yep.
You enjoy that?
I do.
Yeah. Same style of music, is it?
Yeah. Very similar
modern,
music.
Sort of, they have a band and all the rest of it.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They have a good band.
Yeah. If somebody had told you 6 months ago that Michael, you'll be going to church every Sunday, would you believe them?
No.
Did you have a church background when you were growing up?
No. So my father was Catholic and my mother was Anglican, but it wasn't something that was pushed in our family very much.
So you didn't go to Sunday school or anything like that? So, no real grounding in that background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you feel about that now? The whole sort of God thing?
Yeah. I've got God in my life now.
Yeah.
So,
You feel you have a relationship with God?
Definitely.
And that's something that's happened in the last 5 or 6 months?
It has,
Yeah. We were talking to some guys a few weeks ago, about a month or so ago now, maybe even longer, and they were saying that they had done an Alpha course down at Dooralong. Is that something you've done or you're interested in doing?
I missed the Alpha course that's just gone, so hopefully there's another one maybe that I can be a part of before my time's up at Dooralong.
Yeah, because the guys that we spoke to spoke very highly of it.
They did.
They got a lot out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So has that spiritual side of it surprised you?
It has. I opened up to it gradually. I'm glad I have. So,
just a recognition, isn't it, that we're not just sort of a physical body with emotional feelings, but there is also a spiritual dimension to us, and looking after the physical and the emotional and ignoring the spiritual is ignoring part of who you are.
Yeah, definitely.
So now you're up at the front. You'll be up at the front tonight, singing along, clapping away.
I will be.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. You're listening to 94.9. It's 20 to 11 on this Wednesday morning, chatting away to Michael from the Dooralong Transformation Centre, who was going to leave after 3 months, but yeah, that was a long time ago. He's still there, and it's now coming up for 6 months, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah, but initially you were thinking of a 10-month stay, and that's still a plan, is it?
Yeah, so I've got another 4 weeks left of, like we spoke about, the morning groups, which is level 2.
Yeah.
And then it's on to re-entry phase, which is thinking about work, where I'm going to live, things like that.
So we're a little bit premature in considering those issues now, because of whatever we say this morning might change, of course. But you have a trade, do you?
I don't have a trade, no.
But what were the industries that you worked in?
So I've worked in construction as just a leading hand labourer, basically.
Yeah. So is that something you would think of returning to?
Possibly not, just
because of that environment.
Because of the environment, I think
the availability of alcohol and
just everything that I've gone through. I think I'm due for a change. It's time to approach life in a different way, I think.
Yeah. And you've got to look after yourself, haven't you? And not deliberately put yourself in an environment where you know that there are risks and temptations. So what would you like to do?
I'm not sure. That's something that I'm working through at the moment. So,
and that's perfectly fine. You've got another sort of 4 or 5 months at Dooralong. Yeah. So that's something you can take advice on.
Yeah. The big thing for me in my life is I feel like I haven't had that purpose there or meaning.
Yeah.
So in the sense of work especially, I'd like to do something where I feel it's meaningful work. So.
Yeah. Meaningful in what way do you mean meaningful?
So helping people in some way. So it's something that I've looked at in the past as well. So humanitarian work. Whether it's realistic or not, these are things that I have to weigh out.
Well, but it's worth exploring, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's definitely something I want to explore.
They're probably not options the best paid jobs in the world, but they're probably amongst the most rewarding and fulfilling jobs, I would think. Giving back and helping people.
Yeah, it's a big thing for me, I think, to
about being a drug and alcohol counsellor.
Yeah, definitely. That's
because it was the drug and alcohol counsellor in your life that mentioned Dooralong, who's turned things around for you. So it'd be nice to have that sort of huge impact on somebody else's life.
Yeah, 100%. So
it's good. Those are things you can take advice on and think about.
Yeah.
How are things with your family now, Michael?
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah. I remember you saying when we first started chatting that your dad had issues with alcohol, but and he's probably of an age where he's not going to change now. Would that be fair?
Yeah, he's pretty set in his ways. He's a 70-year-old man. So.
Yeah. What about your mum?
Mum was never a big drinker, so she's really happy with where I'm at the moment, and that I've taken this step. So.
Because thinking of it, she must have been really, really worried for you during your teens and 20s. Yeah. Seeing her son and going off the rails and knowing what that could lead to. So it must be a great relief for her to know that you're getting good treatment and you're doing well.
Yeah, it is a relief for her. So I've put her through a lot of stress over the last 20 years.
How often do you get to see her? Because she'll still be living in Parks, will she?
No, she's up on the Central Coast actually. Yeah. So she's not too far away. I see her on my weekend leaves.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. So, and she gets to visit you in Dooralong?
Yeah. She's allowed to come and visit.
Yeah, that's super. So the plan for Michael's life is to just sort of stay focused on the work that has to be done at Dooralong over the next 4 or 5 months, to graduate from Dooralong, and then that 4 or 5 months that we're talking about to sort of, with advice, sort of get a bit of a plan together for work.
Yeah, that's the next phase, I think. Start thinking about work, living arrangements.
Yeah, which I think can be sort of both exciting but daunting at the same time. It can be an anxious time, but it can also be an exciting time. But because it's a completely blank page that you're getting to write as far as the future of your life is concerned, isn't it?
Yeah.
You decide. Yeah, and you're young enough, listeners can't see this, but Michael is young enough, believe me. You're young enough to still have a long, fulfilling life ahead of you, and you now get to choose in which direction to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting.
What about church? Will that be figuring in?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Once I leave Dooralong, church will be something that will continue in my life for sure.
Yeah. Find another good church like Long Jetty, was it? Yeah. I didn't ask at the time we talked about Long Jetty, what's so good about that church? Because we hear lots of people say they go out to Long Jetty and they really like it. What's the best bit of that church?
It's just the energy that's in the room. Everybody's really down to earth and welcoming. So,
yeah. Did that surprise you how down to earth and welcoming they were?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Just normal people, everyday people.
Yeah. No judgment,
no judgment, no
stereotyping.
expectations, just come as you are.
Just come as you are.
Yeah.
That's really, that should be a sign that's outside every church, shouldn't it? You know, just come as you are.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, it's been a privilege to talk to you this morning. We're just grateful that God had his hand on the tiller of your life and steered you to a really safe environment at Dooralong, and we trust that He will continue to guide your life as you leave, and we pray God's blessing on you and whatever direction you take in the future. So give our love to everybody back at Dooralong, who as we speak will be cooking that wonderful roast meal for tonight.
I will.
And we'll find you down on the front row tonight.
You will.
You will.
Thank you for having me.
It's been our pleasure. Thanks very much, Michael. You've been listening to an encore presentation of the Dooralong stories, which can be heard live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. and repeated 8 p.m. Sunday and 1 a.m. Wednesday, right here on 94.9 rema.cc.